Discontinue.
Hello everyone, welcome to Kilimanjaro Safaris.
And on your right, watch his hands start feet, legs, his doors are sliding shut. Asante Sana, what that means? Thank you. Antoine, that means let's go. Let's go, guys. Hello, everybody. Hi there. My name is Ashton, and this is Aaron who's driving. And today you have double the safari guides, which means you will see the same amount of animals. But we are going to give you some little reminders here. So watch those hands, arms, feet, and legs. Keep them inside the vehicle at all times. And make sure you have good ones on your laps or on the seat next to you. If you do have a child or baby in your lap, they must stay all the way seated in that same lap the entire journey. That is for safety. And if you want to take photos today, I do recommend having those out and ready. You never know when an animal's going to show up. We got a lot of ground to cover. First stop here is Little Australia. Some of the animals in here can be a little shy or well camouflaged, so make sure you're looking in those bushes. I do see to our right there, coming out of hiding, we got the okapi. I see two of them right there. The okapi is the closest relative to the giraffe. Both the okapi and the giraffe have a dark purple tongue, most likely to help protect it from the sun while they're eating. Okapi are also known as the ghost of the forest. And that's because the Western world did not believe that they existed until 1901. What that means is the people that lived there were like, hey, this animal exists. And the people that weren't from there were like, we don't believe you, we haven't seen it. And in 1901, they said, never mind, we saw it, we believe you now. Want to remember to keep looking in those plants on those rocks. You might have some animals blending in pretty well. In fact, I see an animal right ahead of us here. So if you look upwards on the left side of the picture, there's a black rhino up there. Looks like he's also rolled around in some mud that's going to help him cool down as well, kind of blend in with his surroundings. As we move forward, you might even see that pointed upper lip that they have, kind of a beak shape. There's also on your right there a black, white, and orange bird called a saddle-billed stork. Their wingspan is about the length of the canopy above you, so that's about 9 feet. It's a pretty impressive wingspan. Now with that black rhino, they're pretty solitary animals, usually hanging out on their own, so that can make it difficult for us to raise their numbers. Until recently, we only had 5,000 black rhinos left in the wild, but thankfully we've gotten them up to 10,000, which is pretty fantastic. The Disney Conservation Fund works with non-profit organizations to monitor those numbers in hopes they don't go down. And we have managed to double them, so hopefully we can keep up that momentum. We want way more than 10,000. Also briefly mention that pointed upper lip of theirs. It's prehensile, so they can move it on its own. They can grab on things, pick things up, kind of like an elephant's trunk or monkey's tail. Pretty useful for it. Already saw quite a few animals in the forest there. Now I see these trees opening up. It looks like we might be entering the Safi River. So now we want to look for any aquatic wildlife or any animals that might enjoy a watering hole. Let's see what we can find in here. I see on the right a hippo hiding underneath the water. Now, if you don't see it right away, don't worry. Just keep an eye out as we move through. That lets us know there's hippos in the area. And then on the right, I really see some pink-backed pelicans. Now, they do get their name from the pink coloring on their backs. It's most probably during their mating season, so how pink they are will change throughout the year. And I see another hippo on the right there, hanging out submerged in the water. And then a whole bunch of hippos on the left. Oh, it looks like they're getting some really delicious food here. They do like to stay mostly submerged in the water to protect themselves from the sun, as well as because hippos are related to whales and dolphins. They can hold their breath underwater for a few minutes at a time. As you can see, despite their big, powerful jaws, they do eat vegetation. Their jaws serve another purpose, that's to show dominance. Whoever can open their mouth the widest, they get to be in charge. If you've ever played Hungry Hungry Hippo, it looks a little bit like that. I think it's a pretty good way to make decisions. Now when they move in the water, they're not swimming, they're walking along the bottom. In fact, hippopotamus roughly translates to water horse, so that's a big part of how they get their name, is how they move in the water. They're actually pretty fast on land, up to 19 miles per hour. And a group of hippos is called a float. Think of only just some bloated hippos. Speaking of big, powerful jaws, you want to keep an eye out for any Nile crocodiles over here. So any kind of gray, lumpy shapes that are in the water, they're pretty good at blending in. Crocodiles are fairly good mothers. Their odor is gently in their mouths to help them hatch. And the difference visually between crocodiles and alligators is crocodiles have long, pointed snouts. Alligators have flat, rounded ones, a little bit more wide. The arrangement of their teeth is also different, partially due to that bigger mouth shape. And crocodiles have extra plating on their backs. It's kind of like armor, as well as like solar panels, helping them to absorb sunlight to stay nice and warm, because they're cold-blooded, so they're relying on outside sources of heat. They don't like the cold very much. And that's why you'll see them sunbathing so much, because it helps them have a little bit more control over their body temperature. So next time you're at the beach laying in the sun, you can feel like a crocodile. Noticing that our terrain is changing again. It looks like Aaron's taking us to the West Savannah. West Savannah is a vast area. It's very large and flat, so definitely want to keep an eye out. There might be animals kind of spread out or off in the distance. I'm going to talk about these animals as we get closer to them so you can see them better. But feel free to look around yourself. We got some animal spotting guides above here if you don't want to wait to know what you're looking at. Do a little I Spy. Ooh, I Spy with my little eye a whole bunch of animals. We got some Ankole cattle on our right here. We have a Maasai giraffe hanging out by that tree. Now there's a lot of these cattle here, so their horns are not as heavy as they look. They're actually honeycombed on the inside, which allows for extra blood circulation. Keep them nice and cool when it's hot out. Those great big horns are practically hollow. Both the male and female Ankole cattle have those horns. They both got to cool down. And they come in all different shapes and sizes. You can see this one on our right here coming up. Hers are almost a circle. That's pretty fun to see. They're a domesticated animal. All the other animals that we've seen so far have been wild animals. They're part of the bovine family, same family that cows are in. Now with those cattle, they are considered a sacred cattle to some, so they do hold cultural significance as well, or a holy cow if you will. So they're also known as Watusi cattle by the Watusi people. On the left there, I do see some sable antelopes hanging out in the back. They got that brown fur, those arching back horns. Now they are the symbol of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. It's because they're the only antelope that will fight back against predators. In fact, 9 times out of 10, they will choose to stay and fight rather than run. We are fighting to protect all these animals out here. Also passing by these impressive structures around us called termite mounds. Termites will make these out of dirt, saliva, and dung. Home sweet home. Looks like we're also going to get a closer look at some of these Maasai giraffes here. So close they might be crossing the road in front of us. Yes. Because the grass is always greener on the other side. Now as we get close to giraffes, keep an eye out for that dark purple tongue that they share with the on a giraffe. That tongue could be the length of a fully grown man's forearm. It's kind of a crazy tongue there. We can tell these are Maasai giraffes because their brown spots have jagged edges. On a reticulated giraffe, their spots would have rounded edges. You see them pretty close here. Little horns on their heads are called ossicones. Giraffes can get 14 to 20 feet tall. Your seats are about 10 feet off the ground. So when a giraffe is born, they fall between 6 to 9 feet to the ground, and then they get up and start living. And it's quite a way to enter the world. Probably a little bit of a rude awakening there. Even more giraffes over here. A group of giraffes is called a tower. And we can see some more of those Ankole cattle as well. Oh, look who's over by these termite mounds to our right. We have a baby giraffe, much smaller than the other giraffes, but still taller than all of us. You can see him right over behind that termite mound there. When they're first born, they're usually around 6 feet tall. He looks like he's maybe a foot or two taller than that, so he's probably a few months old at this point.
I've never seen a baby with
Now, giraffes only sleep for a total of about 30 minutes a day spread out throughout the day. They do not sleep very much. There's a lot of power naps. They're very much a prey animal, so a lot of what they have going on is going to protect them from predators. And if you're awake most of the time, it definitely helps you keep an eye out for predators. On the right, I also see some very tiny antelopes called springbok. They're scattered around here. The smallest type of antelope you'll see out here, that's as big as they get. We also have some wildebeest spread out as well on your right side. Wildebeest means wild beast. They travel in herds up to 10 to 1,000, so they can get to pretty big groups there. When all those groups come together to migrate, it can be in numbers up to 1.5 million. Here we got a closer look at some springbok on our right, those tiny antelopes. Now they're named pretty well because they can spring 13 feet in the air and 13 feet out. It kind of looks like they're double jumping like in a video game when they do it a few times in a row there. And we have all these giraffes around us. Remember to look for that dark purple tongue.
I can see it.
You can see their tongue? Or you can see the giraffe? Either way, pretty cool. Got this one on the right here. She's nice and easy to see. And all those wildebeest on the right as well. And all those springbok. And you can see the baby giraffe in the distance if you look really hard. It's the nice thing about how large and vast the West Savannah is. You can kind of just look out and see a bunch of animals at once. Some more wildebeest. We're also approaching these really large trees here. They look like they've been put upside down. These are what baobab trees look like. They're also known as the tree of life. Passed one earlier if they look a little familiar to you. Now they're called the tree of life because during the rainy season they collect lots of water inside of them, and during the dry season animals are able to access the water inside of the trees after elephants put holes in the trees with their tusks. Another baobab tree on the left here. Ooh, we also have up here some greater flamingos on the left. Take a look at those wings. That's the pinkest part of these flamingos because, yes, they are the least pink of the flamingos. Usually people are thinking about flamingos, probably thinking of lesser flamingos or Caribbean flamingos. But all flamingos start out gray and fluffy. They get their pink color over time from the shrimp that they eat, as well as other organisms that are in the water. It can take about 2 years for that pink color to come in. Do me a favor, look at the island that they're standing on. Does it look like anybody you know? I can't tell. Maybe not. Maybe I'm crazy. Our group of flamingos is called a flamboyant. It's a flamboyance of flamingos. You get a really fun name there. On your left, look quick, you can see some elephants back there. Yeah, right there. Now, as we enter the much more dense East Savannah, I don't see animals yet, but I do see some mud to our left. So that's where some animals might roll around in some mud to cool down. You know, create a barrier between their skin and the sun, just like how we use sunscreen or wear certain clothing to protect ourselves. You want to keep an eye out in these bushes here. We might have some animals utilizing camouflage. There are two main types of camouflage. There's the one that helps you blend into your surroundings, right? Kind of disappear. And then there's the kind that helps you look like a different animal. Maybe one that's more dangerous than you are, so they leave you alone. On the left, I see an animal utilizing the first one for sure. They're blending into those recluse. And then right ahead of us, we have some southern white rhinos, okay? So we have cheetahs on your left, hiding out there, blending in a little bit. And then ahead of us, we have some white rhinos. Now they're nearsighted, very good hearing, so you'll see their ears switch, but they might look at you like they left their glasses at home. Yeah, so they can't see super well. He's getting some good grass here. Group of rhinos is called a crest. Southern white rhinos are more social than black rhinos. They're kind of like 5,000-pound puppy dogs. And then we, of course, still have those cheetahs on our left. Now, cheetahs can run up to 60 to 70 miles per hour, but not for very long. They're built for speed, not distance. So they can run about the length of 2 football fields, and then they're going to slow down. I mean, that's pretty cool. They can reach that top speed of 60 to 70 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. So that is as fast as a rock and roller coaster taking off. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. Pretty pens. That's great. Fastest land animal. And then we also pass those rhinos. You might have also noticed their nice wide mouth shape. That's important because white rhino is a mistranslation. They're originally called white rhinos because white means wide in reference to that wide mouth shape. Remember, black rhinos have that pointed upper lip. Speaking of big cats on the left here, I see some lions. You see, I see there's a female in between those trees here, and there's a male on the other side of that last tree. Now, that male is our first clue that these are younger lions. His mane is not all the way grown in. He's got a little mohawk situation. So these are probably teenagers in cat years, most likely around 2 years old. And that female lion we saw, female lions are the hunters. They will do the hunting while male lions will stay at home and take care of the kids. Gosh, we've got a lot of animals over here. So we got some ostriches right there. We got some water buck. We got some water buck on the right, this type of antelope, some rhinos on your right, and then we also have some lions on your left. Now, I'm happy we're seeing the lions awake because while giraffes don't sleep very much, lions do. Lions will sleep the majority of a 24-hour period. They sleep a lot. In fact, once you add it all up, they're only really awake about 3 years of their average lifespan. They got too much napping to do. They also, yawning and roaring is contagious for them, just like how if we see someone yawn, it makes us want to yawn. They do the same thing. The way to say lion in Swahili is Simba. The way to say king in Swahili is Mufasa. So the way to say Lion King in Swahili is Simba Mufasa. They worked really hard in the studio that day. What are we going to name these lions? Now we should be able to see these rhinos again up here. We can take a look at their nice thick skin, as well as these ostriches. Ostriches can run up to around 40 miles per hour, so not quite as fast as those cheetahs, but still very fast, especially for a two-legged animal. Two-legged animals are built for distance running, while four-legged animals are built for speed. So they do get to be the fastest animal on two legs. They get that title. Also have those water buck over there. This antelope with the shaggy fur. Cute little heart-shaped noses. And then up ahead here, we have some ostrich eggs on your right. Very large eggs there, those yellow eggs on the ground. Also very strong. Humans could stand on them and they would not break. They can withstand a lot of weight and pressure. That is going to help protect the egg. I see the warden's outpost, so that means that we are getting closer to the village again. Now, at the warden's outpost, I see some Nigerian dwarf goats holding down the fort, and it looks like they're looking after the jeep birds too. That's very nice. All the bases are covered. Now, they are ruminants, which means that their stomachs have 4 sections. They are going to use those extra sections to digest food. Other animals cannot. Makes them a pretty good choice for farmers, more options, a little easier to feed. They do also produce a nice sweet milk that is rich in nutrients, or they can be turned into butter or cheese to sell. Now, if you'd like to see some more African wildlife, I do recommend checking out the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail. It's about a 20-minute fully accessible trail with gorillas, hippos, zebras, naked mole rats, if you like Kim Possible, and lots of other really cool animals. I say this because our adventure is nearing an end. I can almost hear the music coming from the village now. But thank you guys so much for joining me and Aaron here. I have any wilderness explorers on board. You've been on board the Simba 1. That is the Simba 1 on page 14 of your guidebooks. Then your driver has been Aaron, and I am Ashton from Tampa, Florida. Thank you guys so much. If you'd like to learn more, you can go to Disney Plus and check out the Magic of Animal Kingdom, or you can go to DisneyAnimals.com. Both those are really great resources for learning more about these animals as well, so their backgrounds, personalities, how we take care of them. And if you want to help out with conservation, you can go up to any register here in the park and donate directly, or you can just round up any of your purchases. That money will go to the Disney Conservation Fund, and Disney will double your donation. really appreciate anything that goes that way. It helps us not only take care of the animals here, but all over the world as we do work with nonprofits. And again, thanks guys so much for joining us. Here we don't like say goodbye. That's part 2 set, part 2 final. Here we say Quaquerini. It means go well. So go well, go wild. Have a great day out there. Remember to drink lots and lots of water. Good time out there. If you have any questions or comments, you're welcome to them.